Do. What up, what up, what up? Coach Colin, can y'all hear me down here? What up, Overlord? What up, Ankle Bully? What up, Kobe? What up, Daniel? Crazy, Mags, man. Okay, you guys are all coming in too fast. I can't keep up. Sorry about that. Good to see everybody. What's up? We got people going on IG Live down here and on YouTube. So what's up, IG fam? What's up, YouTube? Love all y'all on both platforms. Let's see here. I'm going to try to set my phone up here so everybody can get a look. What up, y'all? What up, what up? All right. Welcome to another episode of Ask Coach C Live. It has been a minute since we did this. So I've been crazy busy. I actually started a new company. We're currently in the middle of doing like some fundraising rounds and stuff. So if I haven't been as responsive on social media or even on YouTube, like the comment section, my sincere apologies, but I'm working on something that is absolutely game changing. It's going to help all of your games. And it's really like 100 times bigger than myself. So my apologies. I'm going to try to do more of these Ask Coach C lives because it's one of the best ways to kind of connect directly with you guys and be able to answer questions in real time. So feel free, IG, drop your questions. YouTube, drop your questions. And hopefully we can help you guys shoot the ball better, help you guys score more points, do what we do over here at Shot Mechanics. You guys know the game. Real quick, this video is sponsored by my custom shot design program. Now, a lot of you guys don't realize I sell premium training and premium programs, and the custom shot design program is actually one that I created. It's pretty revolutionary when it comes to shooting instruction because it helps players figure out their own personal, shooting mechanics. And most of the time within the first 10 minutes can help players instantly increase their shooting percentage. Now, a lot of other coaches say it's snake oil and they're like, hey, you can't possibly improve in 10 minutes. And that's flat out not true. Thousands of players all over the world have already tried it. So I actually have a sale going on for the next 2 days only right now where you can get it 80% off. Again, you don't have to get it, but it's premium training. It'll definitely help you guys out. And it's kind of like having me there as your own personal shooting instructor, where I'm going to teach you how to be the shooting instructor yourself so you can fix your own issues. So if you're on YouTube, it's in the description. If you're on IG, it's link in bio. You can check it out. 80% off. It's phenomenal. Well worth it. Probably the best bang for your buck on training on the planet because it's that effective. So with that being said, let's jump in to answering some questions. I'm going to go over here to YouTube and take one over here because my YouTube fam, they were the first and foremost here. Let's see here. All right. So Corey France says, can you give me advice on playing varsity basketball? So that's a very kind of open-ended question. But the answer I'll give you is this. Varsity basketball is, a whole nother level. It's a lot faster. People are a lot quicker. It's basically the normal basketball that you're used to playing, but it's just a level up. So what you have to do is you have to learn to really speed up your decision-making is probably the biggest one. The biggest issue I see from a lot of players moving up from JV to varsity or freshman to varsity or whatever it is that the speed of the game is just too fast. And so they have more turnovers, they get more shots blocked, they play a little bit timid. So what you would really want to work on, especially in your training, is picking up your basically your decision-making, your quick read and reaction. That's going to help you translate to varsity basketball more than any other thing for sure. Let's see here. When I shoot one-handed, so Michael over on YouTube says, when I shoot one-handed, my arm hurts. Why is that? That's a good question. That sounds like a question perhaps for your doctor. It might depend on how bad it hurts, and depending on, I guess, the motion. It's hard to tell without actually seeing it. I actually just uploaded a YouTube video of maybe last week or the week before where I talked about how I don't do one-handed form shooting anymore with any of my clients. I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think it actually translates to a lot of the mechanics you got to work on. So I probably wouldn't shoot with one hand anyways, but I would definitely ask your doctor about that. Good question. With that being said, I get asked a lot of times, it hurts when I do blank, blank, blank. Anytime you have, it hurts when I do blank, blank, blank. Don't ask a YouTuber and an online coach and somebody who's doing, like the coaching side. Go talk to a doctor. Definitely go talk to a doctor. Talk to somebody who knows anatomy, ins and outs, went to college for 8 years to be able to do it. Definitely better, that way you don't take some bad advice and then hurt yourself more. And then an injury turns into another injury. Go ask a doctor. Blasted Fusion says, Colin doing big things. What's up, my brother? I appreciate that. Always appreciate that. Let's go to YouTube. Let's go to down here. Tips for tryouts. All right, I'm seeing a recurring theme here of tips for tryouts. Tips for tryouts. Tryout season is coming. Especially in the United States, we're a couple months away. It's kind of more football season, but players are still starting to think about it. So the tips for tryouts, I would say, I've got a whole video series on YouTube. If you search Tryout Academy or Tryout Tips, you're going to be able to find that. But what I would probably do more than anything is I would work on your communication. Now, this is something that it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how athletic you are, but communication is something that can really set you apart from other players and that sticks out like a sore thumb at tryouts. I used to conduct a lot of tryouts. I used to be a high school coach. I used to, do AAU coaching and all that sort of stuff. And the number one thing is at tryouts, everybody gets timid. Everybody gets quiet. Everybody starts to, kind of get inside themselves and they don't get outside of themselves. And the players that really stand out to a coach are the ones that are talking, are the ones that are communicating, are the ones that are like, hey, I need 3 lines over here and I need 2 lines over here. You, and you go to this line. You and you go to that line. If you're that player at tryouts, you automatically, before you've even done anything skill-wise, stand out like crazy compared to the other players there, especially if you're in like the junior high age, because junior high players just are like, church mice pretty much the entire time. So I would say communication, that's the number one thing, especially because you can, really it doesn't matter how good you are to be able to stand out. So that's the very first thing I would ask, or I would say. Let's hear. Nice Guy 100 says, how tall are you? I'm 6 foot on the nose. If you count my bangs, I'm probably like 6.5 inches or 6 feet and like a half inch. So about 6 foot on the nose. I actually get that question a lot, I think. But there you go. 6 foot on the nose. How do I get better release? How can I get my handle better? Good question. Good question on how can I get my handle better? So the big key with ball handling, and this is something that a lot of players don't realize, is the key to ball handling is ball control. The key to handling is, I'll say 2 things: tempo and ball control. A lot of people work on their fast handles. They're like, oh, I can handle the ball real fast, like pop, 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 pop. That's great, but really the speed of your handle doesn't matter near as much as the tempo of your handle. If you can go, like slow to fast or fast to slow, slow it up hezzy and then go out of it, that's what really kind of dictates, having a great handle. And if you watch the best ball handlers in the world, most of them can handle fast, but where they really start breaking ankles and really start getting shifty is because that slow to fast acceleration and that tempo is really what sets them apart. So I would work on a ton of tempo drills. I just did a crossover video on YouTube this week or last week, I can't remember, that really like worked on like a bunch of tempo, drills to help with your crossover. I would definitely check out that video because I think there's 4 drills in there that are all really, really good to create tempo and create that separation off of a crossover. So good question. Tempo and ball control, 2 big ones. Let's see here. We'll go to Instagram for the next one. Deadeye Hoops wants to know, can you do a Steve Nash signature move video? Yes, that's a phenomenal idea. The one thing that sucks about NBA footage that makes it a little bit difficult is that in those like 2000s, 2001 to 2009 and kind of that range of years, where Steve Nash was awesome, the footage is horrible. Like the footage, it looks like somebody like rubbed grease on the camera lens. So it makes it kind of hard to show like details, but with somebody like Steve Nash, I bet I can figure out a way to find, some better footage, maybe some Phantom Cam footage, because I think that was around towards the end of his career. So great suggestion. I love it. I'm going to add it to the list. Much appreciated. Let's see here. Man, y'all are commenting at a quick pace. I gotta like really focus in here. How to do? Oh, here's a good question from Jared Benvedice. Sorry if I butcher anybody's name. My apologies. That's definitely one of the things I'm worst at. So Jared says, how do I get out of a shooting slump and more consistency? So shooting slumps happen to the best of us, right? It doesn't matter if you're the best shooter in the world, you're going to go through shooting slumps. And the thing about shooting that's interesting that a lot of players don't think from a mentality standpoint is that you don't have to shoot 100%. Nobody's going to shoot 100%, right? So a lot of times players get in a shooting slump and they're like, I can't make anything. What am I doing wrong? And they get all up in their head about it. But shooting is a game of percentages. The best shooters in the world, let's take Steph Curry, for example, right? I think he's, pretty much everybody would say he's probably one of the best shooters in the world. He shoots like 40 5% from the three, sometimes less, right? So that means that he's missing more shots than he's taking. So what you want to realize is, number one, when you get in a shooting slump, don't get in your head. Remember, the game of basketball is meant to have misses. Now, we want to try to have less misses, if at all possible. And something like my custom shot design system, like link in bio, link underneath the video, can help you out for sure. That can definitely help you get out of shooting slump. But with a shooting slump, it's mostly what I like to do is get back to the basics, get back to what's going to, help you see the ball go in the hoop. So I like form shooting. I like free throw shooting. If you're playing a lot of games, a lot of times shooting slumps will happen for players kind of in the middle of the season, towards the middle of the end of the season, because they're not getting as much skill development in as they normally would. A lot of coaches don't do a ton of skill development during the season. They run a lot of plays. They work on press breakers, all that sort of stuff. So I would say, number one, get more skill sessions in, because it's just like, if you're in the middle of your season, you might be getting 40 shots up a practice. Whereas if you do a skill development session, you might get 100 or 150 shots up in a practice. So number one, do more skill development. Number two, really focus on, dialing in your mechanics and working on a lot of form shooting, a lot of free throws, a lot of shooting when you're tired. A lot of times conditioning can have a massive impact on a shooting slump. If you start to fall out of condition a little bit, then a lot of times it's just like a legs or a lungs issue. So those are a few different ways to help yourself out of it. The biggest thing is to stay positive in your mind. Stay positive in your mind. Shooting is unbelievably mentally important. So if you can stay out of your mind, say like, hey, I'm going to get out of the shooting slump. It's just a temporary little phase. And, I always like to think about it like, hey, I might have missed the last 10 threes, but I very well might make the next 10 threes, because I'm probably going to get back to that about 50% margin, right? So mentally, that's the very first step. Great question, though. I love it. The mental side of basketball is crazy important. All right, let's see here. So the handles, FEDJA, the handles wants to know, what's the most important thing to work on in basketball? Great question. Oh, sorry, Instagram. I knocked you off the thing here. All right. So what's the most important thing to work on in basketball? Now, obviously, since I'm a shooting coach, I'm incredibly biased when it comes to this question. So I would say shooting. If you're looking at the way the game's changed, especially in just like the last 2 or 3 years, if you can't shoot, you're not going to be able to play, especially going forward. Taller players, more athletic players. It used to be, the guy who was 6'7" couldn't shoot. And so if you could shoot, you could make that up. But now everybody's being able to shoot. Things like shot mechanics have spread shooting instruction to the ends of the globe. So not only that, but you're going to be seeing players coming out of Africa, coming out of Europe, coming out of Asia that can all shoot as well. So I would say shooting's the number one most important. I would be willing to bet almost anything that in the next 5 years, even down to the high school varsity level, if you can't shoot, you won't be able to play. And it's not even just necessarily being able to make shots. It's more so being able to stretch the defense and open opportunities for your teammates. A lot of people don't realize that being a shooter has way more of an impact than just making shots. If you look at like somebody like Steph Curry again, he has what we call shooting gravity, meaning if he's open, the defense is going to shift to him because they're scared of his jump shot. So as an offensive player, think about if you're playing on a high school team, if the defense is always worried about you shooting and they're going to shift their defense to stop you from doing that, your teammates are going to get more layups. They're going to get more cuts to the basket. They're going to get more finishes at the rim because it's not going to be congested and packed into the paint. So I would say shooting by far is the number one most important thing. Take it with a grain of salt because I am a professional shooting coach. So, what else am I going to say? But I would definitely go with that. Good question. All right. So good question over here from Curie. Says, I'm pretty overweight, but wanting to learn basketball. I've been shooting in courts once in a while, and I've been having fun. Should I keep shooting on courts, or where did the rest of that comment go? It just got pushed down. Basically, should he shoot or should he work on losing weight first? Good question. What I would do is I would probably do both. I would do some sort of specific basketball workout. I've got a bunch of them that are phenomenal. Again, custom shot design comes with a full week of workouts afterwards. Shameless plug, link in bio, link in description. But basically what you can do is I would do both. I would shoot around, but instead of just doing casual shooting where you're just kind of like shooting a three, getting a rebound, shooting a three, I would do a very specific workout where you're going hard, getting a sweat. Maybe you're going, hey, for the next 25 minutes, I'm going really hard. That way you get your cardio up. That way you're really kind of moving at an intense pace. And most all of my premium training programs, I use a circuit style training format where you go through a list of drills, take a quick break, go through a list again for as many times as you can in like a 30 or 45 minute period. And most of the time, that's a great way, like a really great way to get a workout and get your skill development in basketball in at the same time. So good question. And hey, I'm right there with you. I'm a little bit doughy right now. My wife just had a baby in July, and fellas, I am telling you, sympathy weight is a real thing where like if your wife gets pregnant and she gains weight because she's, has the baby, like you as a spouse gain weight too. And it is a legitimate thing, right? She's like got a craving for ice cream. It's like, man, I'll have a little ice cream too. So if I look a little doughy in the videos, it's 100% true. But don't worry. I can still bust people with the J and work on I get back in shape. So fingers crossed. I got this little double chin going here. One of those. So I'm gonna be slimming up here too. I'm right with you guys. Let's see here. Okay, Brian says congratulations on the baby. Thank you. I don't think I've really announced it here. I announced it, I think, in my community tab, and I announced it on Instagram and stuff. I did have a brand new baby daughter born early, or kind of like early-ish July. Her name's Gracelyn. She's healthy. She's wonderful. She's already sleeping like 7 hours a night. So no complaints there. And now we're just getting back to the grind, making content for you guys. What else we got here? All right. Kenshiro 2758 says, Coach Colin, how do you become the best defender on the team, even if you are short? Good question. Now, full disclosure, this is not called defensive mechanics. And if you ask anybody I've played with in the past, they're not going to say, hey, Coach Colin's got the clamps, right? Like, I'm not the type of guy where I can like lock somebody down. I lack the lateral speed. I lack the athleticism. That's just not me. So the thing about defense is there's different ways to be a great defender, right? If you're really athletic and have that lateral speed, you can be a harassing defender where you're picking guys up full court, making them work for everything they got. But if you're like me, you have to be more of a team defender, somebody who's in position at all the times, isn't gambling, getting beat on defense, playing smart, not doing dumb fouls and all that sort of stuff. So from a defensive perspective, I would say it's not all about like steals and blocks. Like a lot of people want to make it about steals and blocks. And I get it because those are the things that you can track and you can have as stats. But for me, it's a lot more about team defense. Are you communicating on defense? Are you not giving up easy looks? Are you staying in front of your, offensive player that you're guarding? Those are the things you want to worry about and really try to up your defensive IQ, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how strong, athletic, fast you are. You can still be a good team defender if you have that right IQ. So good question. With that being said, I'm not a fast dude, so I got to play that team defense. I take a lot of charges. In fact, I was playing in a 3-on-3 tournament the other weekend. If you follow me on Instagram at Shot Mechanics, I posted a video of a nice little snatchback three I had there. But I actually tried to take a charge in outdoor 3-on-3 because that's like how I play defense. I play position D. I'm not meeting anybody at the rim or anything. And the ref was like, "What are you doing trying to take a charge in 3-on-3 basketball?" And I was like, "Bro, that's how I play D. Like, I'm gonna play D on concrete the exact same way I play D in the gym." So that's just the way I gotta go about it. 669 on YouTube says, "You trash blood, I would beat you." Maybe not. I don't really care. I'm not in the phase of life where I care if somebody can beat me or not. The Shot Mechanics is about me spreading as much information to the deep corners of the globe so as many players can get, access to information as possible. So I don't really care. You could not. I don't know. There's one thing I would say is I'll give a lot of people buckets, and I'd probably give you a few too. So thanks for watching though. Like, comment, subscribe. Oh man, how do you score? All right, this is an interesting question from Sharimayu Mandapati. How can you score more as a power forward? So again, the game of basketball is really, really changing. Positions aren't quite as important as they used to be, but more so, it's kind of like you got to have more skill. So as a power forward, you're going to need to work on your outside game more. You're going to need to be able to shoot from the outside. You're going to need to be able to pick and pop and space away, because what more and more people are realizing, even at the high school and junior high level, is that if you're a power forward and you can space away, number one, it gives you more offensive opportunities yourself. And number two, it opens up the court for the rest of your teammates. So the very first thing I would say is work on your outside game as a power forward, and you're automatically going to make big jumps, especially if you're younger, because a lot of coaches haven't figured this out yet. So if you're the only power forward who can stretch the floor, it's going to make you better than the other power forwards that are out there. So good question. Da, 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 da. I have a couple. Kid Goofy says, I have a couple questions about dunking. I'm the wrong guy to answer those. I mean, I had like a 9-month period when I was in like crazy good shape in my early 20s where I could dunk. And it's not in my genetics to really like do it all that often. So I'm definitely not the guy to ask. What I would follow my guy Hoop Diaries on Instagram. HOOP, and then just diaries, like a diary you write in. He's my buddy Henry. He worked at Nike for a long time. And he's like probably like a world-class expert when it comes to speed, strength, and explosion. So I would follow him, see if you can pick up some nuggets because he'd help you out a ton. How can I sign up for your channel? Subscribe. MM10ZZ. All right, real quick, everybody drop in the comments on both Instagram and YouTube. Drop where you guys are watching from. I'm always curious to see who's on these live streams, what countries they're from, and that'll give me kind of an idea at the time that I'm posting who's tuning in, because we might end up doing like 2 of these a day. I might end up doing like a morning one for people who are overseas, and then an evening one for people here in the United States. So I'm interested to where y'all are from, because that might kind of change our posting. Connecticut. Instagram. Well, I know you're on Instagram. I'm more so like country, states, United States, Lithuania, wherever you're from. Somebody just say Antarctica. Is that true? That's dope if it is. Asia, Jupiter. That's dope. You guys got internet on Jupiter. I thought it was just a hot ball of gas. Houston, what up? I love me, Texas. Canada. All right, as this rolling in, don't forget, if you're new and you want premium training, my custom shot design program, limited time only for the next 2 days only, 80% off for everybody who's watching on these live streams. Instagram, link in bio. YouTube, link underneath this video. It's normally like $150 to people who are in kind of my normal pipeline. And it's great because number one, it helps you optimize your shot in like literally 10 minutes. It's crazy. And then number two, it's awesome because it helps support us, helps keep the lights on. YouTube's phenomenal, but people don't realize they don't pay nothing for like the ads that pay in the front of the videos and that sort of thing. So if you guys help support what we do, I can keep making videos. I can keep, helping you guys get better. So, much appreciated anybody who supports. And always tag me on social media during workouts and that sort of stuff. I love seeing you guys get after it. Serbia, Minnesota. How can I play power forward? All right. I love it. Greece. So we got a lot of international people watching right now. It must be, for a lot of people, it's probably a little bit later in the evening, I'm guessing. But I appreciate y'all tuning in and watching. And here's the thing, man, like I make videos and I make content for like players just like you guys. Like I don't care, like the other day I had a kid in it was either the comments on YouTube or it was on Instagram. I can't remember where it was at, but somebody was like, yo, you don't even work with like a bunch of pro players, like blah, 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 blah. Like the reason why I don't work with a lot of pro players is because I don't want to work with a lot of pro players. Like if I wanted to work with a lot of pros, it would have happened. I get them in my, DMs from time to time. They want to work with me and I'm not going to travel across the United States to make a millionaire or more millions of dollars. Like I don't care. I honestly don't care. What I do care about is making all of you guys as good as you could possibly be. Because when I was growing up, I didn't have any resources. It was just kind of me trying to figure it out, go along however I could. And because of that, I missed a lot of stuff that I could have been better at. So if you don't see me working with pros, there's a specific reason for it. Because number one, it's a pain in the butt because most of the time they're late. They show up to workouts late. And it's one of those things where I just don't want to deal with. So, just kind of lay that to rest. I've seen a couple of comments like that. If I want to work with pros, I'd be working with pros, but I'd much rather make you guys better. Hello from Mexico. Why are you not in the NBA? Good question. Rosalind Zoo. Now, I get this question a lot. And what a lot of players don't realize is to be in the NBA, you have to be absolutely phenomenal. So while a lot of other trainers will feed you a bunch of BS like, well, I just love training players more than I wanted to like play in the NBA. That's malarkey. It's not true. If I could be in the NBA, I would 100% be in the NBA. Us trainers, we all have hoop dreams and would sell everything we have and give everything we have online for a 10-day NBA contract. And I'm no different. Now, the thing is, I'm just not good enough. At the end of the day, I'm skilled enough. Probably, back in my heyday when I was, really training and going hard and that sort of stuff. I just, from a physicality standpoint, I'm too short. I'm too slow. I just don't have the genetics to do it. And the NBA is crazy competitive. Like you've got to have height, you got to have speed, you got to have strength, and then you've got to have the skill on top of it. People don't realize like what freaks of nature, NBA players actually are from a physicality standpoint. I just had a meeting with DeAndre Jordan 2 weeks ago, and that dude is like an alien when he walks in the room. He's so tall. He's like freakishly athletic. He's just as fast as like your average high school point guard. So that's basically why I wasn't gifted with the genetics to get there, and that's okay. I love the fact that I can make everybody else better on the planet. And honestly, a lot of people don't know this about me. I was a really good distance runner growing up. Like I probably would have been a Division I / like professional runner if I wanted to, but the thing is, most all you guys realize this too, running sucks and I don't like it. So I didn't do it. But I decided to be like pretty good at basketball instead of really, really good at running instead. So good question though. All right. The encoder says, how many go-to moves should I master? Phenomenal question. How many go-to moves should I master? A lot of people make a big mistake. They work on like just a ton of moves. I wouldn't focus as much on moves, and I would focus on a few attack moves and then how you can react off of them, whether it's pump fakes, whether it's hezzies, whether it's jab steps, and then how can you react, based off of those. Hold on a second. I got to talk to 6ix9ine here. Earlier, they said, you trash, I'll beat you. And now they want to know go-to basketball, college, and make them team get exposure. Now he's out here handing out advice. Okay, bro, I see what's going on. All right, anyways, go-to moves. You don't need a ton of them, right? Me personally, I probably have a handful of like 4 that I use a lot, whether it's a hezzy pullback, hezzy crossover. I use a snatchback between the legs, between the back a lot. And what you're going to find is you don't need a lot of moves. You just need a few pretty good ones. And then if you can do attack and react off of it, even better. That's all you need. So I wouldn't worry about getting a ton. I'd say 4 or 5, 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there. That's probably good enough. And then once you master those and you got a little bit more time, then you can add some more stuff to your bag. But up and through like, being a senior in high school, you don't need a ton. It's a common misconception. So good question. Also real quick, anybody who's got some new great rap music, drop the artist in the comments. I'm going to go back and check them out later because I have been on a dry spell of finding good new hip hop. I feel like there's just like so much trash that gets put out nowadays. So if you got some bangers, if you got something that you can sweat to, right? None of this like mumble rapping, like none of that stuff. If you got some good rap, drop in the comment section down below and let me know that too. Blueface. Okay. Who is your favorite NBA players and why? Oh, what's up? Favorite NBA players and why? So I would say, as a shooting coach, it's impossible not to like people who can shoot the rock. So Steph, Clay, those are 2 of probably my favorites. Clay went to the same college I went to, Washington State University. So I'm, a little biased towards him. And Steph is just an all-time awesome guy. I've had dinner with him twice in the last about year. And Steph is just a salt of the earth dude. Like, signs every autograph for every people, takes every picture with every person he comes in contact with, is just literally like the nicest dude on the planet. I don't get how anybody can hate on him because number 1, he's awesome. And number 2, he's like the nicest dude on the planet. So I would say I'd lean towards Steph. He's probably my favorite guy just because he's such a great human being on top of everything. Good question. Explain how the custom shot design is worth it. Oh, good question. So Daddy Thanos says, explain how the custom shot design system is worth it. Now I get this question a lot, so we offer premium training programs that basically are, done for you systems to help ensure that you're getting your game better. And, the stuff on YouTube is great. And it's kind of more of broad stroke for everybody. And the virtual training programs are really a way to ensure that you're kind of getting that work and how you need to. So the custom shot design system is honestly revolutionary. Like when I came up with it, I basically wanted to come up with a way how I can help every single player become an absolute better shooter as fast as possible. So there's this common misconception in shooting instruction that 95% of coaches do, that anytime a player needs to improve their shot, they tear their whole shot down. Now, you've probably had a coach do this before where it's like, all right, well, now you need to do this different with your feet. Now you need to do this different with your hands. And now you need to hold the ball different. Now you need to do this with your hips. And it ends up being impossible to shoot better because you're thinking about like 7 or 8 different things. And it's just, most of the time players struggle. A lot of times they shoot worse for a long time to come because of it. So I wanted to create a system that really allowed players to diagnose and find the 1 or 2 minor tweaks that can dramatically increase their shooting percentage. So the thing that I do as a shooting coach better than probably anybody on the planet, a little bit of a humble brag there, is I can look at a player and in about 2 shots, I can tell exactly what mechanic is causing the misses, and then we can fix that mechanic. So instead of tearing your whole jumper down, the whole idea is finding that one thing that's causing the majority of your misses, fix that one thing, don't even worry about the other stuff, and automatically you're going to instantly shoot a higher percentage. So basically with the custom shot design, it's a backwards design approach. So the first thing I do is I rock you through what I call my custom shot design template, which is basically a template where you're going to try different mechanics and you're going to try different variations. So variation number 1, you're going to try putting your hand in 3 separate ways. Then you're going to record how many shots you make on each one. You're going to see which one gives you the best results. And you do that for about 8 different things, 8 of the main ones that I've diagnosed as kind of being big. And so what you end up finding at the end of the custom shot design template is, hey, this one thing helped me make 8 out of 10 shots. And so that's the one thing I really, really want to focus on, my jump shot. So it's really, from a shooting standpoint, it's incredibly powerful because I always say, hey, I will help you shoot better before your head hits the pillow tonight. And people lose their mind at how well it works because you're really hyper specific, essentially testing and tracking and then figuring out what the one thing that can help you out the most is. And then after that, we have a week's worth of workouts that really help you dial in that muscle memory, focusing on that 1 or 2 mechanics that will help you out. So, honestly, I personally think, and granted, I made it, so I'm probably biased, but I think it's probably the best training system on the planet for quick results. I've had trainers and coaches and people email me in the past super mad about it and be like, how dare you lie to kids? And how dare you tell people they can be better shooters tonight? And it's just honestly science. It's problem solving, solution, and then, implementing in your game. It happens. It happens all the time. I see it all the time. I'll work with players, I'll walk into a gym, let's say free throws, for example, be like, coach, I'm a 45% free throw shooter. How can I get better? If you notice that one mechanic, literally players can become a 75% free throw shooter with 1 tweak in 3 minutes. It's that easy. It's not rocket science. But for some reason, everybody wants to make it about them and not about the player, right? So the whole thing with custom shot design, I know I'm going on for a long time, but I'm really passionate about it, is that it's more so about finding your perfect shooting mechanics, not the perfect shooting mechanics. And that's the difference between me and most other shooting coaches out there. We've started to kind of, change the narrative on shooting. I've seen more and more coaches, especially on Instagram, kind of steal some of my stuff and pass it off as their own. But, that's all good. More people are shooting, the better. Good question. What state are you in? Idaho. I live in Idaho. And a lot of people ask, why do you live in Idaho? Number 1, low cost of living. Number 2, great place to raise a family. And number 3, like I said, I don't need to chase jerseys. So if I want to chase jerseys, I'd live in LA or New York or do something like that. But I love Idaho. I love living in Idaho. It's a great place for me and my family. The basketball scene is not great per se, but it's a good place to be. Uh-oh. Sorry, Instagram. Somebody called me. All right, here's a good question from Maxton. I shoot well with a low set point, but I want a post fade. What should I do? Also, do I get a higher arc fading in general? So good question. So one thing about set points are most players are probably going to have different set points depending on what shot they're taking. So your 3-pointer might be a lower set point because you're not getting challenged as much. You don't need to get it over somebody. You're not going to the rack. With something like a post fadeaway, you might want to raise your set point up a little bit to get it over the defender. Same thing with like a pull-up 15-footer. Most players are going to have a little higher set point on a 15-footer than they are on their 3. Now, we're living in a much different day and age where, when I was growing up, it was like, you got to have the exact same shot every single time. It doesn't matter what you're shooting, XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. But we're living in a different world where you're going to work on different shots depending on what you're doing. So like a lot of times you'll notice, like a guy like Damian Lillard, he's got kind of a low set point when he shoots threes, but when he shoots pull-up 15-footers off the dribble, he raises it just a little bit. So what I would do is I'd probably do the same thing for you. I would just raise it because you're closer to the hoop, so you can get away with a little bit higher one. Good question. Let's see here. John Turner says, how do you Coach Colin, teach me how to do the spin move faster? I love it because it's actually pretty simple. There's 2 keys that will help everybody do a faster spin move. 2 keys. Key number 1 is pound your last dribble. So the last dribble as you put it into the ground, if you pound that last dribble, it'll launch back up to your hands and it'll make you spin faster. If you have a really weak last dribble, it takes longer to come up. You've got to gather it. You kind of don't have enough or as much momentum out of the gate. So key number 1, really pound that last dribble. You'll notice that alone will increase your spin speed pretty fast. And it is crazy how much it works. Number 2, work on keeping the ball tight to your body when you spin. It's natural tendency when players spin to hit their last dribble or go into it and they widen the ball out from their body. And the wider it is, number 1, the easier it is to steal because more, defensive hands can get in there. But number 2, the slower that makes your spin. Think about it like this. The analogy I always use is if you're on a swing set, like on a playground, and you twist yourself up, right? And you let yourself go. If you kick your legs out, you spin slower. If you bring your legs in, you spin faster. It's just physics, right? And so a spin moves the same way. If my ball is way outside of my body like this, I'm going to spin slower than if I keep the ball tight to my body right here because it's nice and tight. So those 2 things will really, really speed up your spin. Pound the ball, keep it tight to your body, and if you keep it tight to your body, less defenders are going to be able to steal it. Good question. No. Also, I saw somebody. Sorry, I can't see where I saw the donation. Somebody donated 99 cents over here on the super chat on the YouTube channel. Bless you up. I'll get a water with that after my next workout. Thank you. Everybody who supports Shop Mechanics is always a friend of mine. And even if you can't buy anything, no problem. More power to you. I appreciate you watching, commenting, subscribing, all that sort of good stuff. The FBI says thoughts on Jeremy Lin. Is this like the real FBI? Thoughts on Jeremy Lin. I mean, I like Jeremy Lin. His whole NBA giving up on me was kind of weird. I mean, he's had a long career. So I don't know. It was probably out of context in the whole thing, but I like Jeremy Lin's game. And I've heard he's a good dude. Da-da-da. Do I like Trey Young? I love Trey Young. I love Trey Young's game. I've been on the Trey Young bandwagon. I'm buying all of the Atlanta Hawks stock that there is out there because I think Trey Young's awesome. I think Kevin Huerter is really good. I think Kevin Huerter is going to be the next Klay Thompson. So I think people are sleeping on him for sure. I love John Collins. I think he's going to be really good. I think Cam Reddish, he took a lot of bashing this last year, but I think he's going to be really good. So I like what the Hawks got going, and I absolutely love what Trey Young has going. And it's a great, the thing that I love most about Trey Young is, number 1, he's a great leader, has a positive attitude and energy. Number 2, he's almost a better passer than he is a shooter, which a lot of people don't realize. People see those deep bombs, and that's what they focus on, but he gets players involved. So I love that about him. And other than that, I just like what the Hawks got going on. I think they're making smart decisions. I think they're building the team the right way. So give the Hawks like 2 years, and I think they're going to be a little frisky. And calling it right now, Kevin Huerter, all-star in, let's say, 3 years. So this season, next season, season after, he'll be an all-star. Mark it down. Because that boy can shoot. Do. Do you think Doncic will improve his three-point percentage? I think he will. The thing about the NBA is everybody struggles a little bit from three when they first come to it, just because the speed of the game's faster. You're getting challenged by defenders more, and the line's pretty long. And the thing with Doncic is he's got pretty good mechanics. The one thing I've noticed is that his set point is a little early, for what I think is probably optimized. So if I was working with him, I'd probably try to delay that set point slightly, and it would probably improve his shooting percentage. But he's big enough, strong enough, tall enough, it might not even be an issue. It's one of those things where I think he probably will. If I had to say, most rookies aren't going to shoot their best, as a rookie, especially because he's really young, so I think he probably will. What time we got here? I've got a phone call in like 5 minutes, so we'll go about 5 more minutes here. iCopy says, why don't you go pro? Good question. I'm just too old. I'm out of the, development age where I'm just like, working on my own development. I'm in more of the coaching phase. So, the professional stuff that kind of passed me up. I'm 33. A lot of you guys think I'm younger than that. So if I was 23, I'd be looking at it, but I got a family. I don't want to move them to some foreign country and move them all over the world. If take my daughter out of school and do all that sort of stuff. So, I'm in the making all you guys better phase of life, not the me, chasing dreams phase of life. You look younger, man. I know. I get like people pass me as like 25, like all the time. Which is it's kind of weird for right now, but later on in life when I'm like 60, I feel like it'd probably be a pretty sweet thing because I'll look like I'm like 45 or whatever. So I'm okay with it right now. With the baby and the kids, they make you sleep a little bit less. So I'm getting a little more bags into the eyes and all that sort of stuff. But I'm trying to stay young. Trying to. You're not 33. Stop. I am, I swear. Born in 1986. I'm a young soul, though. I'm still a young soul. That's funny. What do we got on IG? It's been down here for a while. Thumb flick. I'm just going to keep asking from Macy Dunn. Good question. So thumb flick. Not as big of a deal as everybody thinks it is. A lot of coaches will say, hey, you're thumbing it. You got to get it off. You're not going to be able to shoot if you can't do that. I would say that 2 of the best shooters I personally know, guys. So Micah Mason is one of them. So if you're on Instagram, search Micah Mason. He's, I think, one of the top 5 all-time NCAA three-point shooting percentage guys. Just an absolute sniper. Does a lot of really, really good training as well. He has a ton of thumb in his shot. I have a ton of thumb in my shot. A lot of great shooters have a ton of thumb in their shot. So my thing about thumbing is it's only an issue. It's only an issue if it's what's causing your misses. Think about that. That's one reason why my custom shot design is so powerful, is because it's all about only changing things that are causing the misses. If you're thumbing the ball a little bit and you're constantly missing long, or you're constantly missing short, and you're not missing left and you're not missing right, then the thumbing is probably not really an issue. The thumbing is an issue if you're missing left or missing right. So it's one of those things where if it's an issue, you want to fix it. If it's not an issue, it doesn't even matter. I'm actually working on a video. I believe I'm shooting it tomorrow morning, where I talk about a 5-cent hack to use a better, or to not thumb the ball anymore. And it's pretty easy. You basically just take a nickel, pinch it between your guide hand thumb inside your guide hand when you're shooting. And then that way, if you push, you'll drop the nickel, and it's really easy to work on your muscle memory that direction. Good question, though. We got about 2 minutes. Good question here, Gregory Lawrence Jr. How do you delay your set point? So, a delayed set point, I think, the more I coach, the more I train, the more I look into, kind of the research side of things, which you're going to find very few people that do as much research as I do. The delayed set point is probably one of the most important things to making shots, because the ball and your hips need to move together, because that's where your flow maximizes. That's where your power maximizes. And if you have enough power, a lot of your other mechanics fall into place. So getting a delayed set point is all about the ball and your hips moving together. So what you notice is, for most players, as they get ready to shoot, the ball goes up and their hips go down. So the ball goes up, their hips go down. Now, if there you have that, disjointed movement where the ball's going up and your hips are going down, that's going to make it hard to get that set point timing optimized. So what I always try to think about and how my players think about is if the ball goes down, your hips go down. If the hips go up, the ball goes up. So if your catch, everything's down together, everything's up together. So really think about that, and that'll help get you kind of the perfect set point. So with that, I've got to wrap it up, but don't forget, this video is brought to you by my custom shot design system. 80% off for the next 2 days only. There's a countdown timer on that page if you click the link in the description or link in bio for Instagram down there. And it's automatically going to shut down at 2 days, and it'll be $149 when it's all said and done. So if you want to save 80% right now and get instant access today, we just got a brand new training system. Everything's like super flashy and looks really great. And again, anything you purchase always helps us at Shot Mechanics. It helps keep the lights on, helps us buy new camera equipment, helps us keep up in our game, and all that sort of good stuff, so we can keep bringing you phenomenal content. And again, this is another episode of Ash Coach C. I'm going to continue to do more of these because I feel like they're great. I love connecting with you guys. I like, being able to answer your questions in real time. I think it's really important. And I'm also playing with the idea of doing an Ask Coach C series in the gym. What are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments if you think an Ask Coach C series in the gym would be good, because I feel like it'd be good where you could ask a question. I could be on the court and show you in real time. So you're like, hey, my shooting hand position, blah. And I could be like, oh, have a basketball here, show you that sort of stuff. I think that could be super dope and kind of game changing. I need to buy some more equipment and do some special stuff to be able to do that. But hey, I'm always down to invest for the better of you guys. Let's hear yes, yes, yes in the gym. Yes, that would be helpful. Dope. Looks unanimous. I'm going to do it. We're just going to do it. Let's just make it happen. All right. Again, hey, all y'all on Instagram, I love you. You guys are phenomenal. I'm going to sign you off first. Boom. Everybody out here, I love you on YouTube. Again, the Splash Army is one of the best audiences on the planet. And what I love most about this is it's about getting everybody better. And it's about, you falling in love with the game, having confidence each and every time you step on the court. And it's just been, so fun to be able to make videos for you guys and be able to connect with you. So more Instagram Live coming soon. I love all you guys on Shot Mechanics. And until next time, splash on. We got busted pinky. That looks gross. Yee.